We're back to the Neil Haley Show here on the Total Celebrity segment, and now the media giant effect. It'll be really coming soon. Again, I'm rebranding myself the media giant, former pro wrestler, 6'10". Hey, you know what? Especially all the shows have done 9,000 plus, and we have another amazing celebrity. But I first introduce my co-host, Greg Hanna from Toss C3. Greg, how are you? And you're excited about our guest?
Doing awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to him.
All right, so I am very interested, and I got to remind myself back into the days of Mad TV. And he has to bring me back, like do a timeline deal. So he's a former SNL star and Mad TV star, and now he has a podcast, a deep fake podcast where he's interviewed people like Bill Burr and Alec Baldwin. I'm excited to welcome him, Jeff Richards. Jeff, how are you, man? What's going on?
Hey, good to be here.
All right, so let's just talk about it. Let's just jump right to it. And the way I'm going to jump right to it is specifically enough look at comedian. Was that, you wanted to be a comedian right out of the womb? Were you a class clown? What was it?
Yeah, I just always had that instinct to kind of pop off or wait for a moment in the classroom and then just, just try to throw things off a little bit. Yeah, so I always went for the punchline and always did voices and imitations of people, mimic a bit, since I was little. Yeah.
Okay, little. What impersonations did you start out with? What were your favorites?
I started out with Letterman. I used to watch Letterman when I was like 12. It's nice to see it. Good to have you here. You would hope at some point, and again, I don't know when. At some point, things might change.
And so you started that right off the bat and that end, and is that where you looked at kind of where your career was going from there? What happened then? Like you wanted to do this. When do you say this is going to be something I want to do?
I think in college, I was in study abroad, and I was in Italy, and I didn't have much TV. There wasn't much English stuff. So I was just doing impressions to all the students, and I get laughs. And I thought, well, if I could try to figure out how to do stand-up, maybe I could, do stand-up. So I came back. I was in North Carolina. I came back and I did open mic at a club, and I just fell in love from the first night. Yeah.
All right. Good, Greg.
No, that's pretty amazing. So that's a great question. Did you enjoy doing stand-up in front of a live audience more? Or is Saturday Night Live, is it a live audience as well? And you really can't tell all the time on TV what's real and what's not.
Yeah, it's live. Yeah,
it is live. Okay, cool. And so tell me, I used to love to watch Saturday Night Live, when I was younger. Don't have the time now. Plus, I can't stay up as late as I used to. But tell me some stories like from Saturday Night Live. Like what's something that you can remember, either like one of the cast members, or I don't know, were you around with Chris Farley at all, or any of those times? Or
my first year was Will Ferrell's last year.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember one time, just a surreal moment. There were a lot of just surreal moments. One time I was in the bathroom, or I wasn't in the bathroom, but there was a security, and I wasn't in the bathroom yet. There was a security guy in front of the bathroom, and Mayor Giuliani was in the bathroom, going to the bathroom. And I walked in, I was dressed just like Drunk Girl, all makeup, dress, everything. And I just was standing in the urinal, going to the bathroom, and look over, there's Rudy Giuliani. It was just such a weird moment, very strange.
What did you do? Did you say anything to Rudy?
I think I did. I think I just gave one of these, like, hey, how you doing? But yeah, it was weird, but it was really cool. Yeah.
And then when you the character Drunk Girl, go into more Drunk Girl and how that developed, that character.
I was doing stand-up in San Diego, and there was just a girl in the crowd that was yelling out. She wouldn't listen to me when I was talking to her as myself. So I just started impersonating her and yelling back at her as she yelled at me, and kind of shut her up that way. And that's how it started. Basically, you can't stop a drunk girl. You just have to get out of the way, That's how that happened. Yeah.
And then did you think it would go to that point where you're playing that character? Never
even thought, not even close.
Who came up with the idea? Did you come up with the idea with the writers, or how did that develop?
From that moment with the audience, that dialogue became the sketch for the first one. just being real combative and crying and all the different whirlwind of emotions drunk people have.
It's crazy. Well,
So tell me some of your mentors you had as a comedian. Who were some of the people that helped you out?
Harlan Williams has always been a great guy for advice and just a great friend. Different people. Let's see. From the show or just stand-ups? Just stand-ups in general.
Stand-up show, anytime in your career.
Writer. I went on tour with him for a couple years, and he's a great guy. He's coming on the show this week on Wednesday.
Great.
Yeah, those guys and Chris Kattan, yeah, those are the main ones. Yeah, those are the main ones. Yeah.
So tell me, as a comedian, like your ultimate goals as a comedian, have they changed throughout the career to now? Because you're naming some of these names, they went on to TV, not just TV, but also, films and things like that. Was that an ultimate goal for yourself as well as a comedian to go further into acting and other films and things like that? Is that a goal of every comedian, do you think, especially when they're doing stand-up?
No, I don't think so. I think, some guys want to act, some don't. I did. There's so many things I like to do. So I even like to do music, like funny music stuff. But it's just like a little of this, little of that. It doesn't have to be everything all at once. I have a lot of fun with different aspects.
All right, go Greg.
That's interesting. You mentioned, Neil, movies and stuff and comedy. So Adam Sandler jumped into mind for that. Did you ever work with Adam Sandler at all, either on SNL or bump into him out in the world? Or
bump into him a couple of times. I met him a couple of times. He's a great guy too. But no, never worked with him. No.
Your experience on Mad TV and what Mad TV was about. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Oh, I don't know. I was just so fresh and young, and it was like, I'd started doing stand-up maybe a year and a half prior, so I didn't know what to expect. And at that time, I'd never done any acting at all. So I was kind of thrown into it, but I think I did pretty good for what it was. There was this one sketch where I played Letterman, and it was this long sketch, and there was a lot of choreography, and there's a lot of stuff to it. And I got through it, and I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. I think I can figure this out. And then, got on SNL, like 8 months later or something.
Definitely. Those opportunities happen. And so that opportunity happened through Mad TV and different things. After doing SNL and different things, is stand-up your favorite thing just to perform? Would you say go out there and perform as a comedian?
Yeah, I do love the live aspect of it. I like improvising a lot too. That's why I like my show, because it's 30 to 40 minutes. It's all improvised, and the guest doesn't really know what's going to happen, and that's fun to me, because you just have to get it on the one take, and that's a lot like SNL. You have to get it on the one take. So
exactly, and that's how I just try to, because I went live for so many years in radio. I make my podcast the same way. I'm like, whatever, we're not live, but we're going to play it. So give us an example of deep fake. Define deep fake, because I had no idea what that meant. And if we were guests on your show in deep fake, how would it work?
Well, if you're doing an impression with me and it was a double deep fake, we'd both have the deep fake on our face, which is basically, it's an overlay, computer overlay of, all these different composite images of the person you're going to impersonate, or just put a face over. And it's just like this thing. It's like a mask. Like, you can't turn your face too much this way or that way, or it'll blur out. And it just looks really good. If you have a really good camera to film it on, it looks very, I mean, a lot of people get fooled by it. They think it's.
So so you're saying, so give me an example of the character. So if I said I would be someone, okay, and you could rip on my Kermit the Frog impersonation, how I impersonate Kermit the Frog. if I was Kermit the Frog and you were somebody so and so, it would look like the character as it's a deep fake in the podcast. Am I correct? Am I on the right track?
We do it after you recorded it.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
Put it on after.
So that's. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying what I'm doing now too. I'm doing like an unfaked. I'm doing it just with no deep fake here and there too, just so people remember, it's me or someone at least. Because sometimes you just forget if you see that face and it looks just like it and it sounds like it, and you just forget. So I think it's good to mix it up. That's what we're doing.
Okay, so you do your Letterman. I'll be Kermit the Frog. Okay, let's just do that. Go ahead. Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. Thanks for being on this deepfake thing. I appreciate it.
Well, it's nice to be here, and let me just say right now, you look like $1 million.
Well, I'm feeling a bit green after COVID, but I'm doing okay, by the way, and also Miss Piggy's recovering very well.
Right. Well, she's a pig, so don't have any grand expectations. She might go back and forth. It's difficult to say.
That's great. All right, Greg, ask a question. Now, I never thought I'd be doing this, but see, I ended up doing this before. I like improv. I never did improv. Jeff, can I do that? Like, let's say we came up with the two things, like whose line is it anyway, and all the how they would create certain things, and then an improv. Do you enjoy improv? And I'm going to let Greg ask a question.
I love improv. Yeah, it's the best.
Because of professional wrestling, I could do an improvisation and saying we're going to wrestle each other. And I did this, I forget, with someone from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And I forget who I interviewed. Isn't that terrible? I interviewed so many people. I need to have a list, and my producer says, hey, this is who you interviewed. I love it because it's easy. Remembering lines is hard. I tried auditioning a couple times. I didn't like memorizing lines. I like to create my own characters, do my own thing. Maybe I should someday get and do a comedy or something. But improv's fun because let's just say we were coming up with an idea that you were going to wrestle me, and we could do that after Greg asks a question. This is me being, I guess, improving in the show. I just care less. I'll talk about whatever. That's how I enjoy things. When you're in a scripted thing, I can't stand scripted. So that's why I like improv. So is that one of your fun things where you do different improvs, or you had to do that in acting sometimes, or go and do certain things? Have you done a lot of improv types of?
Oh, yeah. I've done a lot of improv, and I just like it because you're so free, and you don't have any responsibilities except listening and reacting and being in the moment. And yeah, I really like that. But I also like acting because you have to make it seem in the moment. It has to be, you have to really do it a certain way so it feels spontaneous. And I like that challenge.
How do you remember lines? I find it difficult, especially if I didn't get a chance to memorize those lines completely. If it's such a long thing, like a scripted thing, that's hard. I never thought of that till I saw what you guys go through. If it's like, let's say 10, 20 paragraphs, you got to memorize. That's tough. That's tough stuff, especially if you don't feel it and you're trying to read it. Is it a photographic memory? Is it something actors have, its ability to do that?
I think you hit it on the head. I think the best actors just have that photographic memory. They memorize the best. The best actors can just, if you have it on tap, it's ready to go. Those are the best actors. When you're struggling to think of what's next, then it takes you right out of the moment. So
interesting. That's a good idea to look at it, memorizing it like you're memorizing a test, like I did in college. I can memorize 150 pages, so maybe acting could still be there for me. Who knows? All right,
wow.
Go ahead, Greg, with a question.
That's something new. We got to explore that a little bit later,
yeah.
Neil.
Yeah, good.
So, Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
If you want to change your life, you got to make changes in your life.
Awesome.
I cut up next.
All right. Now I'm going to have to do Elmo. Yeah. This is Elmo, and I'm excited to be on your show, Dr. Phil. Tell me a little bit more about why I'm on here. I've made a lot of mistakes, Dr. Phil.
Do you like yourself? Do you understand who you are? Because I'm looking at you and I'm just thinking, hey, this guy don't know nothing. He just he's moving his neck around, but he's not listening to his internal problems. You got a problem.
What is my problem? That I always want to go and sing?
I can't define it, but look how your eyebrows are up. That's not good. You got to get your eyebrows down, because now that
that's great, because you're impersonating, going after me. So that's great improv. This is the fun thing. And, and people just talk a little bit more about the Deepfake podcast in that way, that your podcast, the guests, you're telling them a character. Do you, like some of the podcasts you've done with some of the huge celebrities you've had, what characters have you guys done? So people need to go check that out. Like, what character were you? And
well, I do Jimmy Fallon, That's the coolest thing in the world. Hey, dude, man. Hey, dude, man. It's the coolest thing in the world. So good to be here, It's incredible. I found a paperclip the other day, You know what a paperclip is, A twisted piece of metal, I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, no way,
And who was the guest? This guest was playing who they play?
I had Kevin Farley do it, Russell Peters do it, Charles Fleischer do it. I've done Fallon a few times. Yeah.
No, but I mean your guest, the celebrity guest. Who do they who they say they act like?
Oh, they don't. That doesn't always happen. That's very rare. Usually, I have them on as themselves. And
you interview as that person. That's so cool.
Yeah.
James Austin Johnson from SNL does Trump. He did Billy Bob Thornton, and I did Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka.
I have to off air talk about some of my other personalities, my dual personalities, but I can't do it here.
Why?
I can't do my dual personality.
Give me one.
Oh man, you're killing me. Oh no.
I'll do Dustin Hoffman, and you pick somebody.
Oh, you were talking that way. I was okay. Let's just go. I was going to think about doing one that's a fake character. Well, I'll be it. How are you doing today, sir? I'm doing fantastic. Being here, living in Texas and no longer in Philadelphia, West Virginia, I tell you what, I really enjoy how much more interesting people in Texas are.
This is Dustin Hoffman.
Wow, Dustin Hoffman, I think I might have watched you at one point in time. I'm just too busy, doing my thing.
Well, I don't know what you're thinking, but it's intruding on my space. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to think. But you've got the problem. Yeah.
Oh, this is fantastic. This is not what I expected. I'm sure Greg didn't expect this, but this is the fun thing. And you're just really good at impersonating people. What do you do? And I've talked to some major people that have done it, like the voice of Bart Simpson I've had on my show. I had the voice of Winnie the Pooh. I've had different people, and they talk about how they create these characters or are able to do this. Is it just practice, continue practice, listen to yourself? Some of these other voiceover artists, what do you do to kind of do it? To make it fun? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's sort of a knack. It's a bit of a knack, but I think you just hear somebody's rhythm and it speaks to you, and you have an opinion of how to play it, because it's almost like not just mimicking, but mocking in a way, because you're kind of putting an edge on it. So I don't know. I think it mostly comes from not really trying, just listening, let it get in your brain, and maybe it's one you can do. That's how I do it.
All right. I'm busy doing this with my kids sometimes, and also my former students. I did the Kermit the Frog voice. I'll have to do this one. Boy, people are going to want to get back in this one. And this one is the best. The Rubber Ducky song. Are you ready? And then you can ask a question, you give feedback. Let's take this American Idol, and I'm going to sing the Rubber Ducky song, and you can be one of the judges. And you can pick any of your characters, okay? All right, let's go. Rubber Ducky, you're the one. You make bath time so much fun.
Oh, poor little ducky. Most ducks don't have long, and neither do I. This tiny speck of dirt is not just a speck of dirt. Inside are mustard spiders. Okay, that one got a little weird, didn't it?
Yeah, well, who's that?
That's David Attenborough.
See, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love it. This is call improv. Okay, Greg, ask a question. That the final question, and then I might have one more question.
No, you can go ahead and take it. I'm enjoying this too much.
It's gonna be. This is okay. So, Jeff, your latest projects, is it podcasting, or also can we find you other places, other things as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a show at Oregon's Best Winery in it's September 17th, this Saturday at 7:00. OregonsBestWine.net. They have great wine, delicious wines. A little small winery.
Where's that located in? Oregon's Best.
Aurora, Oregon.
Aurora, Oregon. Okay, so my listeners are in Aurora, Oregon. Definitely check it out. Oh, so you basically on your website is everything there to basically.
Yeah. Linktree.com/Jeff Richards, or Instagram is the Jeff Richards.
Jeff, did you ever think this was going to happen? That you find out a podcast radio host wants to do impersonations? Now, give me your take on some of them. Are they pretty good? Are they okay? Would you rank them? What would you rank them?
I think they're good. I think maybe just go even farther with exaggerating it.
I'm not prepared today. Just
a note.
I appreciate that from an expert like you. So, what do you think when people recognize you most? What do they think they see you most from, Jeff?
Probably the SNL.
Yeah.
But I did a few different things, and I got a movie coming out. Mistletoe Massacre will be out in Christmas too. So,
all right, you're gonna come back on, right? You're gonna come back on, and we're gonna have another fun thing when Mistletoe Massacre comes out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. All right, Greg'sTossC3.com, NeilHaley.com, the media giant. And you know what? I'm going to challenge Jeff Richards to a pro wrestling match on the next broadcast. And we're going to have our little promos of who's going to win in the match. I'm legitimate 6'10", 280 pounds. I'll make my comeback in the ring against Jeff Richards. Are you ready, Jeff?
Yeah, but I'm going to be oiled.
Oh, no. That's not that kind of wrestling. You're not being...
See, that's I win.
Kaufman, you're not Andy Kaufman now. Come on now. Oh, come on. Well, I was watching the Jerry Lawler documentary about Andy Kaufman. If you've not seen that documentary or you've not seen Man on the Moon, I love that. Okay. Well, we appreciate it, Jeff. And all your websites, all your different things. So you're doing a lot of comedy. The podcast seems so fun. I'm going to definitely check it out. And man, you getting these celebrities, we're definitely going to have to chat again. I appreciate it.
Very cool. Thank you, Neil.
All right. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.